I hear a lot of, narratives that's out there, and it seems like it's so traumatic, some of the things from childhood that some African and Caribbean immigrants say they endured when they came to America as children. And the overwhelming narrative they keep saying is that when they went to school, that people was clowning them, people was saying things about their clothes, people were, calling them African booty scratcher, which I've said before. I've been called African booty scratcher many times of myself. I've been called Blackie. I've been called Black as Night. I've been called Tar. I've been called all kind of things growing up. I wasn't born in the continent of Africa. I was born in Port Arthur, Texas. There you go. So what you don't hear me talking about? I was called African booty scratcher. No, I roasted them back. That's what we do in our neighborhoods. We just roast each other. We roast each other. And then after that, we all good. We laugh about it or whatever. Or if you roast somebody real good to the point they want to fight, that's when it really get good. You know what I'm saying? But that's just kind of like a cultural difference that we have in Black America. It is part of our particular culture. Now, with some people, a lot of them also don't even understand the term culture, because you also hear them saying, and we got to just straighten these things out just based off of education, right? Education. The term culture means, for instance, it's two definitions. They're considered a noun. It said the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. The second one is the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. So when you say that, sometimes they also have said in different things, well, Black Americans don't have culture. According to the definition, we have every aspect of culture. We have customs in the Black community that we practice. We have the arts, and the arts, well, you well know the arts, like music is an art, acting is an art, part of the arts, sports is part of the arts. You have poets, you have different orators, you have all kind of things as part of the arts. You have people who, artists or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about drawing, whatever. We have that. You know who a lot of these people are. I don't have to run down the names that people know all over the world as part of our culture. Different social institutions that we have. As they said, achievements of a particular nation. For instance, like Black Americans winning in the Olympics, Black Americans get Nobel Peace Prizes. People like Martin Luther King, them. That's part of our culture. Malcolm X is part of our culture. We have a certain style of dress, our music that we have created, like hip hop, jazz, the blues, R&B. Yes, we created rock and roll too. The problem with that is we let that go. And yes, we did create country music too, but we let that go. They were doing country music on the plantation fields of America, way before the white man did anything. Okay, the white man really didn't create much of nothing. He stole it all from everybody else. I remember years ago when I was interviewing Dr. Nancy Yoon, shout out to her. She's an Asian professor, and she was saying that, in the white culture, they are made up of just taking up from everybody else's culture and calling them, well, they have a culture. She said, because they really didn't create anything. They didn't create a religion. They didn't create much of nothing. So it's hella insulting when you are coming over here and saying that Black Americans don't have culture, when a clear-cut definition of culture is what it is. Your clothes that you wear. And the thing is about Black Americans is, look, part of our culture is innovation. Okay. And part of our culture, we always being creative as part of that innovation. So some of you come over and you say, well, we have certain clothes that you're not wearing in America. That's the crazy part. Because you'll say that we have certain traditions and clothes and we have this and that and the third, but you're only wearing your clothes to weddings. When you come over here, you're dressing like Black Americans. If your culture is so much better and your traditions are so much better, why aren't you wearing your traditional clothes from your home nation? Why do you throw away all your culture when you come here to blend in with everybody else? If you say that the culture you have and the clothes and the traditions and the food and all that is so much better, right? We just trying to just establish some things, because also that term that Black Americans don't have culture. We are the culture, whether you like it or not. And when it comes to certain groups, and I have to say this because it keep having an overall theme. When it comes to certain Nigerian immigrants, I have to say that because I'm not seeing the theme from Ghanaians on a constant basis. I'm not seeing it from Kenyans. I'm not seeing it from, Ethiopians. I'm not seeing, here and there you see some Somalis, but the overall theme, who's the most vocal and even have a word for Black Americans like a kata, you know what I'm saying? It's Nigerians. Don't understand what beef is with Black America. I don't, because it wouldn't be for Black America. They behind wouldn't be here. They behind be back where they come from. But anytime you hear them saying we don't have a culture, it shows you their lack of education, because they don't even know what the word culture means. Okay. But let's go back to that African booty scratcher comment. So the picture you're seeing right now is how they normally dress in the African continent, even a lot of times in the Caribbean at their schools. They require them to wear uniforms. And that's just their requirements. There's nothing wrong with that. Here in America, you do have some schools that require uniforms. A lot of times that's your private schools, or maybe in the inner city. I remember when they was instituting like a uniform where they were telling you, hey, you had to wear like a plain white polo shirt, plain black polo shirt. It could be a tan shirt, something like that, some jeans, but they all had to be like that. Clear backpacks, because they didn't want nobody up here trying to be in their gangs or whatever the case may be, right? It was most on that gang crap. But outside of that, most people wore their regular clothes, okay, in American public schools. So part of our culture is, roasting, you call it comedy. That's just part of our culture. That's what we do. We don't really get offended by it. That's just, we do that to everybody, right? It was no big deal. And that's what kids do, right? It's no Black American adults just roasting people. That's not what adults do. That's something with kids. So you came over here to America. Unfortunately, some of your parents didn't prepare you for your, trip to America. They didn't study the culture in America. They didn't do anything. Some of them came over with preconceived notions about, Black Americans, stay away from the Akata, but love these white folk. Okay, that's what the teaching is. Love these white people. Don't marry the Akata. Don't make friends with the Akata. All of that, right? But you can make friends with little Billy and little Connor. Do that. So you come over here thinking that you back home, and you go to school with a uniform that you normally wear to school. Then you go to school here in America. And then you come in there, the first thing they thinking is he coming from church? Like, where he coming from? That's the first thing people gonna say is when they see you. You showing up, with them slacks on, them penny loafers, them church shirts. The first thing they gonna ask you is, say, what church you come from, bro? Like, the first thing they gonna keep asking you is about church. Why you at school like that? Like, man, nobody dressed like that. So yeah, then they ask you, well, what's your name? And then they hear accent. They say, he got it. Where you really from? So then the kid says, oh, I'm from this country. I'm from that country or whatever. And the first thing I'll say, well, why you talk like that? And what kind of food you eating and all that? Because let's keep it real. In America, a lot of us was not socialized to be being around Black people of different, from different countries. Just to be honest with you. America is great at insulating us. But the reason why we're so insulated is because, we were just trying to survive. We weren't thinking about traveling outside no country. Two, the location of America, because see, at least on the African continent, you can have more access to Europe, more access to Asia and different countries like that versus us. Only thing we have access to is Latin America. And we wasn't traveling to Latin America at the time. Black folks wouldn't even think about a passport because we were just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? Talking about a passport, that's for rich people. We ain't got no money to be flying out the country back in the 1980s and 90s and all of that. We just trying to straight all this traveling Black folks are doing now, because Black people are doing so much better financially now, whether we admit that or not. Because all this traveling Black people are doing now, say Black folks spend over $1 billion a year in traveling now. Black people are doing very well financially. They really are. They just don't like to, we don't focus on it, as much as we should in Black America, but we're doing very, very well. So we was not socialized to see immigrants like that. We always was around just Black American kids. So somebody come around with a different accent, different food, you coming around with your Sunday best on, going to school, somebody probably gonna kind of clown you because you're different. But you know what? Every kid gets clowned that's different. Every kid gets clowned. Kids get clowned for skin tone. Kids get clowned for their hair. Let me tell you something. At times I didn't have money for a haircut. They would clown me about my hairline. Man, you need an edge, man. Man, you need a haircut, man. You need this and the third. And I said, you know what? Look, I would become a grown man. I'm never gonna be without a haircut. I said that as a kid. And you know what? Doggone it. That's how it is now. Like I said, man, I go to the barber every week. Matter of fact, I gotta go to the barber today. At the me making this podcast. I gotta hit him up here in a little while. See, you gotta open it. But yeah. That's just something that we do. But see, the issue that I'm looking at here is that you are so traumatized by the roasting from when you first got here. That's what you claim, at least. And you say, oh, I don't like Black Americans because when I was a kid, they called me an African booty scratcher. Oh, when I first came to the school, they clowned my school outfit. Well, yeah, you look like you came from church. So yeah, you will get clowned. But if that's the case, then I should not like Black American people either, because like I said, they call me African booty scratcher. And like, how is it that I was called African booty scratcher? I was not born in the continent of Africa, but I was called African booty scratcher. Okay, why? When they roasting you, they gonna roast you about your skin tone. And I was outside a lot. So I'm the type of person, when I get outside, I get a shade darker quick. Anytime I go to the African continent, my skin tone changes. I get hella dark when I get out there. You know what I'm saying? It don't take long at all for me to get a whole shade darker. So I was outside more than what I am now. So I was a shade darker. So yeah, they'll call me African booty scratcher, all that. So should I hate Black American people? Should I be saying all the time, oh, they call me African booty scratcher. They call me Blackie. They call me this and that. So that's why I don't like them. Because they call me that. Like, really? Get some freaking therapy. You crying about something from childhood. No, the fact is, you just looking for a reason because you have some anti-Black, sentiment. And a lot of times that come from the environment that you come from. Because we see in so many videos now of first generation, African, immigrants and some Caribbean immigrants, preferably more Nigerian than anybody else. Yes, I got to say Nigerian. I can't say African. I can't, because it's not all African immigrants that's talking like this. I'm noticing more Nigerian immigrants saying this, that my parents taught us to stay away from the Akata and leave those Akatas alone and all of that. And it's like, so you get roasted at school. You go tell your mammy that, yeah, them Black American kids, they talked about my church clothes. They said that I was an African booty scratcher. That's why I told you to stay away from the Akata. You go talk to, what's the little white boy? Go talk to him. Because the white people ain't gonna go roast you like that. That's not their culture to roast. That's not what they do. So then you go over there with the white folks, and then like now you hanging with them just because you got roasted. But then you got a chip on your shoulder, and you've been carrying the chip since childhood. You really didn't want to hang with the white folks. You want to hang with the Black people, but you did instead of you learning the culture and being around people. And listen, somebody will always befriend you, even if they roasted. Somebody say, hey, leave him alone, man. He ain't from here, man. Leave that dude alone. Leave her alone. It's like, where are you from now? They say, look, that's just what we do. We just roast each other. Look, I'm gonna teach you how to roast back. I'm gonna teach you. So you can get involved, so you can snap on them and this and and that's how we are. We teach our culture because like I said, we inclusive people. We don't want to excommunicate nobody out, no matter where they come from. We have never been that way. We have never been told stay away from Africans. Don't be around them. Don't marry them. Don't befriend them. We've never been told growing up in Black American households, stay away from them Caribbeans. Don't marry them. Don't befriend them. We've never been told that. We've never been told that. But then when we hear, oh, stay away from the Akata, don't marry an Akata, don't do this, but it's okay to marry Brad. See, I would respect it if you say, stay away from the Akata and Brad. I respect that. because I say, okay, well, they just want to stick in their culture. That's them. I respect it, but it's not that you want to stay in your culture, because it's okay for Brad to go put on your different Nigerian uniforms. It's okay to go and get married to you in Nigeria. That's fine, but stay away from the Akata. When Brad is the biggest Akata out there, he is. He's the one that's taking your resources. He's the one that's pillaging, the land. He's the one that got your politicians in your home country so corrupt that you had to leave it because it's so bad. It's him. It's him. They've been doing this mess to y'all since the Berlin freaking conference. It haven't been the Akatas doing that. The Akatas isn't taking anything out of Nigeria. Not a freaking thing. The Akatas support you actually. But then you come over here and then you got a chip on your shoulder by black folk. And then you want to lie and say, oh, it's because I was called African booty scratcher in school. No, you were taught that in your household. But I also know from traveling, that's the beautiful thing about traveling. I know black people who travel and I know black people who don't, okay? It's based on some of the arguments that I hear. The United States government picks who immigrates over here. They are actually more in control of who come over here from the African continent and the Caribbean than they are from Latin America. Because see, they bum rush in America from Latin America. So they really don't have like a control. But when it comes to the African continent, since it's such a big, body of water in between, they have more control. So what they do is they pick the raccoons. You understand? So we getting a lot of raccoons coming over here. I'm not saying all the raccoons, but they try to pick more raccoons to come over here. So what do raccoons do? Raccoons teach their little raccoon, children that stay away from the Akata, don't like black Americans. You go over there with little Connor, stay, what I'm saying? Teaching them to be a raccoon behavior. But then a lot of times first generation will say, wait a minute, hold on, man, I don't get that. And a lot of them said that, a lot of them are making videos. You go searching on YouTube and say, wait a minute, I get where black Americans are coming from living in this country, because I really got to see what they deal with living here. Like, it ain't nothing like it was back in whatever country people, come from, right? So a lot of them I'm seeing saying, oh, I told my parents, no, y'all got that wrong. Like, this is, and they say, oh, well, we say stay away from them because of movies. Like, I think that's the most ignorant thing that you could say. I'm going to judge a whole people group based off of movies. Well, if that's the case, why don't you tell your people stay away from white folks? Because they got movies about the KKK. Notice they never say stay away from white folks. And they got movies about the KKK all day long. Since our reality is shaped based off of a movie, they don't tell them about them folks to stay away from them because of the KKK or slavery, right? Because they enslaved black folks. They have movies about them being serial killers, violators. You know what I mean by that. They got all kind of movies out there about them. Look at the Michael Myers and all these movies about them doing some heinous things, and they not one movie is used to say stay away from them. But the few movies that came out in the freaking 80s and 90s, like Menace to Society, Colors, and stuff like that, that's the movies that you use to say, oh, yep, right there. That's black America. That's how they are. So stay away from them. That's a bunch of BS, and you know it. There's movies out here showing every group of people doing some sort of criminal activity. I don't hear you saying stay away from the Mexicans. You got plenty of movies out here about the drug cartels. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear you saying stay away from them. I don't hear you saying stay away from the Asians. The Asians got, different gangs like the Triads, the Yakuza, and all kind. They do all that tricking and all that stuff in the massage parlors. And I don't hear you say stay away from them because they bad people. It's always, notice that, it's black America. I'm going to use some movies from back in the day to say stay away from black America, but I'm going to omit all these other movies and real criminal activity that happens in all these other groups. I want y'all to pay attention to that. It's okay to be around everybody else, but Black America, yeah. Well, they have babies out of wedlock. Every group got babies out of wedlock. Well, they shoot people, man. Nobody shoot people more than Brad. Show me even Pookie and Ray Ray. They don't even go up in schools or churches or anything like that and just mowing down people. They don't do that. But you talking about Pookie, well, Chicago. Someone was saying that. You know what I'm saying? Sound like a white supremacist. But you ain't talking about Brad and all the stuff that he doing. If you think about black crime is relegated to certain geographical areas. Do you know that black crime is related to economics? Do you know that black crime is literally non-existent when black people become middle class and up? Do you know that? Research it. Black crime is literally non-existent when black people get to the middle class and up. If all black people were middle class, they will have no crime in Black America. None. But I know crime you're gonna have. But it is literally non-existent. When it comes to Brad, it don't matter if he is broke, middle class, upper class. He has a whole criminal class. But you never say stay away from them. See, the fact is, when you're using movies, when you're using all kind of BS excuses, no, you already had some anti-black racism because on that African continent, a lot of you don't like your other brothers in your own country. I don't like him because he this tribe. I don't like her because she that tribe. And you want to bring that mess over here. But I've also seen in my travels when them folks show up, how you're bucking your eyes, how you're showing all 32 of your teeth. Just these white folks that showed up. So that's why you say, you can overlook everything they do. But talk about black folk. And the reason why we talking about this, and I'm going to continue to bring, things like this up, because you got to really, I'm not going to be calling people names and roasting people. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm a firm believer of zeroing in on what the arguments are and bringing forth the truth. The only ally you really have in America, if you are a black person from different countries, is black people here. If you really think you got an ally with Brad, if you think you got an ally with, Latin American people, if you think you got allies with Asians, you gonna find out the hard way. And let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna warn you about this, about black folk. When you show your natural black behind to the black American community and say like, well, F y'all, because I got more, in camaraderie with these other groups. And then when you need us, we look at you and say, nah, we good. Go stay over there with them people. That's how we are. Just as a community. Let's go back to that Christian Obenselli guy. He was up here talking about a kata this and a kata that, but then when Becky, stabbed him up, his family, hey, brothers, what's going on? Yeah, it's kind of tragic. I hate that happened to him. If he would sit up there and if he would have talked to a lot of brothers and sisters here, we could have warned him about that kind of female that he was fooling with. But he was saying a kata. See, you take a risk with your own life, thinking that you know what you know in this country. You know crap. They play the game on y'all. So they play the game. I remember a Haitian brother in Florida. He was telling me that how them folks try to play the game on them and they fall for it. Like this Haitian brother was saying, I had them white folks tell me, oh, you guys, I like you guys more. You so much better than the black Americans and this and that and the third. And he said, I looked at her like she was crazy and said, I ain't no better. Who you talking about? He said, why are you saying that to me? He said, we all black. He'll say, so if how am I better? Well, because I'm from Haiti. He said, good well, y'all don't like Haitians. I said, y'all white folks can't stand Haitians. Y'all try everything y'all power to destroy my country. He said he told her that and say she was shocked. But some of them not, of course, not thorough like that brother, right? The one I talked to in Florida. Some of them be like, oh yeah, and really eat that up. That's game. Them people use the tactics of Satan. Okay, they use the tactics of Satan, and Satan is all about lies and deceit. And if you believe the wiles of the devil, you get involved with his wiles, okay? You will be hurt and harmed. It is dumb to live in a country and not be with the people that can protect you the most, which would be Black America. And your reasoning is movies, because I was called African booty scratcher. You freaking 45 years old, and you talking about you was called African booty scratcher when you was 8? Seriously? That's what I'm talking about. No. You just using that to back up some anti-Black sentiment that came from your parents and from that tribalism in your own homeland. What I'm telling you is the way things are going in America, you need Black America. You really do. Only thing I'm telling you is don't show yourself and be in a position with Black America like, nah, I'm not fooling with you. I'm good. Now, of course, this is not all. Trust me, there's a lot of Caribbean immigrants and African immigrants that, hey, I'm cool with everybody. You know what I'm saying? The moment you just show your behind is when I got an issue with you. You know, I go to restaurants. As a matter of fact, she's this Jamaican restaurant I went to. Man, it was real good. What's that place called? I forgot the name of the place. Not too far where I'm at. I was happy to go there. I love Caribbean food. I love it. I love African food. Like, shoot, I want to go back to Blue Nile, you know, over there, the Ethiopian restaurant. You know what I'm saying? I love eating all kind of different food. And they always cool with me. I've never had a problem, never felt not wanted in those places or whatever like that. So, yeah, man, like I said, Black America, we love everybody, man. We love everybody to a fault. That's been our biggest problem. We love everybody to a fault. And, you know, so you see in Black America now kind of snapping back is because, you know, you got to look at it from my point of view. It's very hurtful what a lot of y'all have done, because y'all supposed to be our brothers. Y'all supposed to be our sisters from just different lands. And then you come over here having the same vitriol as the white supremacists. That's hurtful, bruh. Think about that. Like, they're not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. It's hurtful. So because it's hurtful, that's why you getting so much anger and pushback, is because it's like, wait a minute. You supposed to be our brothers and sisters. You come over here sounding like the white supremacists, and we fought for you to get here? I mean, seriously? Yeah, it's going to be more anger with you, because think about it. You will be more upset with a family member that betrays you than an enemy. Because the enemy, you expect the enemy to do things like that. But when you have a family member betray you, you're more angry, you have more venom and everything, because you supposed to be family. You don't betray family members. If you have a cousin, you don't supposed to betray your distant cousin or your long lost brother, your long lost sister. You don't supposed to betray them. So yes, it's more anger towards you. Yes, because you're supposed to be family. And when you have to excommunicate certain family members, it's always a hurtful thing. It's never like an easy thing to do. So you can't compare how Black folks are coming at some of y'all when you being disrespectful versus a white supremacist. White supremacists are the enemy. You supposed to be family. And you sitting up here going team white supremacy is hurtful and it's disappointing. And it stings a lot more when it's coming from family, even distant family. So yes, it's going to be more anger at you. Oh, yes, I agree with that, because that's wrong. We supposed to be sticking together as family. Sure, you know, we have different thoughts, we have different ideas, but at the end of the day, one thing white folks understand is that we are white. We're not the same. People from Sweden is not the same as people from Norway. People from Ireland is not the same as people from, Italy. They're not the same, but they understand that we're white. So we better stick together on things to protect white folks. That's what I'm telling us about Black folks. We all don't have to agree. We all different ethnic groups, right? We all different. We got different languages. We got different customs, traditions, etc. Like Black America, you know, what's coming up next is Thanksgiving. Black America celebrate Thanksgiving. A lot of you don't. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand that if we all Black, we need to just kind of stick together. It's, you know how weird it looks to other groups of people when you got somebody that looks no different than me, saying, I'm not black. I'm this, I'm that. I'm not one of them. It looks, you know how crazy it looks to other races of people? That's what y'all don't understand when y'all come here with that. Like, I'm not them. I'm this. I'm that. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know the difference with y'all. Y'all, and they laughing at y'all. You don't realize how much them white folks are laughing at a lot of y'all when y'all come here with that. I'm not black. I'm OJ. I'm not them. You know what I'm saying? We got the same skin tone, same features, same hair, same background. We come from all, down the line, same continent, same DNA, but I'm not one of them. That's like a dog. That's like a German Shepherd saying he's not a dog because he don't look like the Rottweiler. Well, you know what? I'm not a dog because he's different. And people say, well, both of y'all are dogs, right? Nope. I mean, I look different. Don't you see me? I'm different. Like, no, you may have a little variation in your look, but both of y'all are still dogs, bruh. Both of y'all are dogs. And you are, and you imagine two dogs arguing that well, you're a dog and I'm not. I mean, seriously, that's how stupid it looks. It looks so stupid. It looks so stupid and ignorant. So some people just want to be beefing for nothing. I wish we would put this much energy at working together and building something in 2022 and beyond than fighting so freaking much. It's a freaking waste of time. While black folks are talking about, I ain't black, I'm this, I ain't that, I'm that. While you doing all that, Asians are building. Asians are working together. And I said Asians because think about it. When they felt they was under attack, they wasn't putting this, I'm Japanese, I ain't him, I'm Chinese, I'm Vietnamese, I'm Filipino. They forget all that. They said Asian because they understood that we got to work together because we are in the system of the world. We're one group of people in America. So let's work together. Koreans aren't together like that. They got Koreatown, Chinatown, they got Little Vietnam, they got all that. But when they feel like they're under attack and they need some legislation in America, they come together and they understand that we got to work together as Asian people. White folk, they work together. These different Hispanic groups, they know they're all different. They know they come from Venezuela, they come from Guatemala, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and all the kind of places they come from. But when they come together, what they say, they always make sure they understand politically, let's call ourselves brown. They don't say, don't call me that, even though they don't call themselves brown, but they understand politically, if we want to keep getting some stuff, keep letting black folks promote black and brown, because that's how we get things. See, everybody know how to be on code to get things politically and get protections and everything. Black folks still playing games. And African immigrants, Caribbean immigrants, it's all you include in this conversation. The game playing you doing. Yeah, we different. Yeah, we got different clothes, different music, different whatever. Respect it all. But when it comes to things politically in America, we are all black, whether we like it or not. We all black. I don't care what you call yourself. We all black. In the system of white supremacy, that's what you are. Now, if you don't like that term, change it. And I'm talking about change it in the federal level. Change it. That's it. Just change it at that level. Now, once you change it at that level, okay, then we have a different conversation. But we losing. We losing, and it's silly. So if you still on that African booty scratcher crap and you was just 8 years old and you freaking 45, please get some therapy. Get some therapy so you can come into the modern time with the rest of us, because that sort of thing is causing a lot of unnecessary things. Like I said, we all need to be working together, and also some black Americans too. Some of you need to let some things go too. Listen, I'm more forgiving with black people. I'm more forgiving. Because I've learned over the years that black folks are so quick to forgive them folks. Even when they kill our people, we quick to forgive them. They ain't burying the ground and we crying, talking about, I got to forgive them because Jesus. But Jesus go right out the window when it comes to our own people. You notice that? Nobody brings up Jesus. Well, that's what Jesus will want me to do. Jesus say to forgive, brother. 70 times 7. We bring up Jesus when it comes to forgiving them folks. But when it comes to other black folks, I don't hear no Jesus talking at all. No 70 times 7 or anything. That's another thing. All black folks I'm talking to on that. If you're going to forgive white folks for killing your children and doing all the stuff they do to you and bring up Jesus, with doggone it, bring up Jesus for black people. I am very forgiving with black people. If they being, apologetic, if they are genuine in what they're saying, and I feel that's what it is, I can forgive that. How is it that you got more venom and hatred for your own than you do for the people that enslaved you, colonized you, and everything else? How? That don't even make sense. White folks don't forgive nothing from nobody. You do them wrong, they never forget that junk. But when it comes to them, we supposed to be forgiven 70 times 7. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure that you click the subscribe button. That way you know when we post another podcast. Click the like button. If you like the podcast, definitely do that. If you are, supportive of the show, like I said, it's September now. I mean, this year is passing by fast, ladies and gentlemen. Send us a love offering on Cash App. It'd be greatly appreciated. Or definitely those who are donating in the super chat, we greatly appreciate you for doing that. Or later, a super thanks. You say, hey, man, I really like that. Let me go ahead and hit a super thanks. Hey, your brother appreciate that. Anything you donate, we appreciate. So thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.